we're going to try to figure out, can you actually outrun the legendary Shai Hulud within Dune Awakening? I want to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know if this is a good example. But in the clip we're going to be watching, spent about 3 minutes playing chicken with the worm, and I think we have a lot of good evidence to suggest that if you have enough speed, you can outrun the jaws of Shai Hulud and even outrun in certain situations. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play the clip, we're going to watch it in its entirety, and then we're going to break it down. Use the chapters where you need. Let me know if you get anything out of this, and let me know, do you think we can outrun Shai Hulud in Dune Awakening? So what do you think? Well, it looks to me like there's a few good scenarios here that kind of indicate that you can outrun Shai Hulud. Let's just run through this and I'll give my commentary on it as we go through. Now, what's interesting about the first time the worm pops up is you can see that it tries to lock onto you, and it is actually trying to calculate where you're going to be based on your velocity of your character. So that's how we can kind of guess and move towards you. So it is a bit of like a homing missile. But what's interesting that I think we learned from this video is that it does have a limited amount of time that it can run once it's done the animation where it's on the top of the sand, skimming the sand to eat you. It looks like there is a limited time that it can do that. And the most fascinating aspect of all of this is how we can escape the clutches of when the worm comes up underneath you. Now, I was going downhill slightly and I was accelerating. If you roughly look at the speed, I was only roughly doing between 60 and 80, but I did boost in the last moment before it popped up and I was going downhill. So to me, it looks like in that instance, you can't escape the actual worm's grasp. So maybe it is based on speed, as the downhill momentum and the additional boost was enough to let me escape. A few interesting things we seem to learn here too is that you get enough distance or you spend enough time on the sand escaping the worm will go through the animation of popping out of the sand like it does when you first detect a worm that's not aggroed. It seems like it just won't keep going for you where it just skims along the top. It's not going to keep doing that. Some kind of cycling process where maybe it will come out of the sand a couple times. And what is very interesting is in this shot here where we actually escape it very reasonably from when it is skimming the sand. Now, it shouldn't have been cancelled out due to any of the safe land in the area, but since the worm started so far back, it seems like it does have a limited runway of how far it can travel. before it's going to eat you. In the final moments before I'm eaten, my speed drops down to under 50 for a brief moment, and then I'm eaten between about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. I do try to boost, but by the time I'm boosting, my engine's near max temperature, and it looks like I don't have enough escape velocity or enough speed to be able to get away. But it looks like if you are moving quite fast and in certain situations, you can clearly escape Shai Hulud. But let me know what you think. I think it's an interesting experiment. More testing will have to be done when the game goes live, but at least in the beta, this is sort of what we can learn. You can escape where it's skimming the sand as well as when it's coming directly underneath you. But let me know what you think.